more teams are more organised. So you've got to be well organised yourself, and you've got to motivate all your players, to play to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, you can't really just tell a team nowadays to go out and enjoy themselves, can you? It's not like that,
That's
is it?
right.
But no, it used to be. I mean,
it used to be.
yeah.
When I first joined Celtic, Big Billy, great motivator. You walked in and you felt 10 feet tall.
Sure.
And just give me the strip and I'll go out and play. And that's the way it was in these days.
That's all it needed. Well, talking of managers, and in particular great motivators, Alex McDonald must be one of the best of those. A very successful spell at Tynecastle, of course, and now, of course, having done this marvellous job at Broomfield and bringing Airdrie to the cup final. Let's take a closer look at the man they call Doddy.
Alex McDonald cocoons some glorious memories of his days with Rangers. He touched the heights in Europe and grafted endlessly in the engine room of an Ibrox side, which twice won the treble in the 70s. He was a scorer of goals and the heir to the throne of the left midfield role vacated by one Jim Baxter. Times, though, have changed. Now Doddy plays his football on Sundays for Dukla Pumperson Sawmill and Tannery, a charity team of ex-pros, actors and television reporters whose brains are willing but whose bodies are weak. And among the travelling squad is that same Jim Baxter.
I think I was a wee bit more faster than Alec. No, Alec was a great Rangers player, no doubt about that. And he's carried it on into management. He's showed the same dedication there as he had when he played with Rangers.
But he's not without fans from the other side of town. Dukla Pumperson teammate Danny McGrain is a former Old Firm rival.
The secret of success, I think, is his honesty, his hard work. He's got his team working the same way. They're not perhaps the best footballing team in Scotland. They work hard and they're very, very honest.
What about him as a teammate in Dukla Pumperson?
Oh, great. He's a small little legs that go very quick. Got bigger guys like Andy Ritchie who don't go as quick.
He's infectious, chick. Hey, once he gets in round about, he's actually just talking about the game there this morning. He wants to play left back, left midfield and outside left as well, so we're going to have to temper him down a wee bit.
I mean, you're not exactly one of the great runners yourself when you were playing, are you?
Yeah, it's great to have Doddy run about though when I'm in the team again. He does all the running for me.
McDonald's greatest assets as a player undoubtedly were his commitment and work rate. Airdrie have played that way all season, but that has horrified the purists.
They don't seem to realise how we play. I think they've just picked up in the bookings, and which mostly consists of talking back and kicking the ball away, and in general something that they're just trying to survive in the Premier League. I think they've just picked up on that, and to be honest, I've used it the whole season. We brought it out, we spoke to the players about it, and we've been able to prove a point, and it's worked for us.
Going into this final, you're anything but favourites, but that just seems to suit Airdrie.
Well, I think in Airdrie were favourites.
Rangers with a pre-planned move. There's Plassines with it. There's a great chance for Smith, and there's a goal! Alex McDonald. 18 minutes gone, Rangers 1, Juventus 0.
I've had my days, as you said. I feel really pleased. I mean, pleased isn't a word for the players. I'm absolutely delighted for them because it is their day. They'll be on the park, and I only hope that they don't miss it. I only hope they go out and enjoy it and do what they're good at and be themselves and just bring a trophy into the dressing room when I'm in there. It's surely something special going with Airdrie, I think, because nobody expected it. We didn't expect it, but the players have worked for it and they deserve it.
Well, the difference is obviously you tasted the real heights with Rangers in Europe and so many other different trophies you won. What's the difference with success in a club like Airdrie?
Well, basically nobody thought they would get there. In many ways at the start of the season I don't think some of the players would even thought they would get there. But all due to the players, they've worked hard. They've got a style of football that suits them, and that's why the reason we play it. They shut down the opposition, they work hard for each other, and on the occasions in the cup tie, we've got the goals. It's been a happy dressing room, just like this one, over the season.
McDonald's memories of the winning habit at Ibrox. He was signed by Davy White for £50,000 from St Johnstone in 1968, who served him well today. Now it's time for others to learn from him.
We finished quite well this season, but there's been a lot of pressure on us all season. We were the ones that were getting mentioned all the time. I said, "Mim, from yourself," which I'd like to say unlucky. It's been a lot of pressure. I'd like to maybe next year, for the players' point of view, maybe go out and get survive earlier so as we can enjoy it more. Because next year is just going to be as difficult, even more difficult, trying to survive. I mean, it's a big, big thing, surviving in the Premier League. That's Jerry.
What Alec McDonald has achieved with Airdrie in the Premier Division, what lesson can Partick Thistle take from that next season?
I think we've got to go and try and get kickers before Alec can get them for next year.
If we had the chance to do it all again.
We're not going to change it. We've had the success of getting in the cup with the way we play, and we'll stick to that, hoping that we can maybe snatch 3 goals in the first half and 2 in the second half. We'll not change it. We'll get and do our best and hope that the players and the supporters have a good day and we make it a good cup final.
Alex McDonald looking maybe a little chunkier than in his playing days, but the skills are still there and he still loves his football, and wouldn't he love to win this Tennant Scottish Cup this afternoon. Very different scene now outside Hampden from even half an hour ago, of course. The crowd's really beginning now to arrive in their thousands. Almost 2 and out in the field, in fact. The Airdrie players have run out. John Martin has saluted the early arrivals as only he can, and we really are now beginning to build up towards kick-off time at 3 o'clock. Well, let's take a look at how Airdrie got to this cup final then. They didn't start off too convincingly. It took a late goal before they saw off Stranraer 2-1 at Broomfield. And then after that, they faced a very hazardous trip to Huntly.
The shop windows in Airdrie are dressed for success. Everyone's confident the Diamonds can win Scottish football's glittering prize.
For success, shaping me up for the big time, baby, get dressed. For success, shaping it up for your love, yeah.
Really good little.
Confidence in this town, you see all the shops decorated up, it says everything's going our way.
A bunch of commandos.
Oh, they are, oh,
Commandos perhaps, but Airdrieonians are certainly men of action. Evan Balfour in particular. When he's not fighting fire, the part-timer's stoking it at the heart of the Airdrie midfield.
Could be fireworks right enough. Yeah, just looking forward to it really. I think obviously we're going to go in so much underdogs, it's unbelievable. But anybody who's going to write us off on the day will be very silly.
The Diamonds have been written off so many times, they've actually grown to like it. These so-called journeymen have come a long way together.
It's a close-knit family. Everybody pulls for each other, they work hard, and there's no so-called stars in the side.
Well, I think it's obviously the lads blend so well, but I think it's a lot to do with the manager and the backroom staff, his assistant John McVeigh and the coach John Binney, all the way down Roy Tomney and whatever. It's just been it's like a big happy family.
Homely sentiment, but the Diamonds' style, like their disciplinary record, isn't pretty. It's geared to survival and very effective. You'll see the fully undiluted version at Hampden.
Do you class Airdrie as a hard team?
How can Airdrie be a hard team when me and Owen Coyle play for them up front? No, I don't think so. I think we just go out and we give 100%, and we like to show that we can compete with the bigger sides. And if that means getting stuck into them, then that's what we'll do, and we'll continue to do that because it's brought us success this season.
Containment may be the name of the game against Rangers, and John Martin, for one, would be happy to take his chances in another Hampden penalty shootout. The big ex-miner's a spot kick specialist. He's a hero for the Diamonds, renowned for almost masochistic courage. So what's behind the bravery?
Thick. Just thick. I don't want to actually... I got carried off against Falkirk, I think it was, and the doctor just got me on the treatment table, stitched my lip, and out I went again. And I couldn't tell you what was happening in the park like, but I didn't want to desert the ship, you know.
Martin's had a 12-year journey with the club, but even he can't remember Airdrie's one and only Scottish Cup triumph in 1924. The only surviving member of that side is now 86, Bob McPhail. Although better known as a Rangers legend, he won the first of his 7 winners' medals at Broomfield.
Who I'm supporting, it's difficult.
It must be difficult. You must have feelings for both.
I would like to see Airdrie winning, but not against Rangers, if we can say that.
Diamonds are forever, forever, forever. Diamonds are forever, 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 forever. And ever.
Well, there's how Hampden looks in what is now a sunlit Saturday afternoon. Delighted to say the sun has broken through. We have some blue sky, and it really is a very attractive sight inside. And that character in the Airdrie goal, John Martin, is trackside at Hampden.
John, we've just heard you talking recorded, calm and collected during the week, but how are you feeling now?
It's all the same. I'm just like any other player. Obviously, when we go back in, the butterflies will start. But once we're out, hoping they go away, and we'll just get stuck into them.
And obviously, a great day out for you and a great day out for this
lot
lot behind you.
That. I mean, that's tremendous, you know. I don't think I've seen anything like that in my life. They will get right behind us, and hopefully we can bring the cup back to Broomfield.
At this sort of stage, are you worried about your start to the game, whether you're going to make any slip-ups early on?
Obviously, you don't go out to make mistakes, but as you know, it happens to everyone. We just hope to keep it tight, don't lose any early goal, and the more it goes on, I think the more frustrated the Rangers will get.
And if there are any penalties, you're the man to save them, I mean.
5 out of 5 is not bad, eh?
That's good going. OK, enjoy your day. Thanks,
Thanks
John.
very much, thanks.
He's a one-off as John Martin. In fact, his penalty record is quite remarkable. I think it's something like faced 93 in his career at Broomfield. He saved 20. Now, that's a pretty good record. That's better than 1 in 5 penalties saved. I think any goalkeeper would certainly settle for that. Well, the pre-match build-up going on behind us, but having concentrated on Airdrie for the last few minutes, let's now turn our attention to the team in the other dressing room here at Hampden, and in particular, Walter Smith. He was here, of course, with present assistant Archie Knox as teammates in the Dundee United team who lost the 1974 final. And this time, of course, he's going for the double as a manager of League and Cup. Manager of the Year, Walter Smith.
Walter Smith and his Rangers players are well versed already this season in the art of celebration. But with the championship prize under lock and key in the Ibrox trophy room, the club manager today hunts the silverware which has eluded Rangers' grasp for 11 long years. And in the privacy of his oak-panelled office, Smith issues a warning to those who pour scorn on Airdrie and accuse them of bully boy tactics.
I think if you're a Rangers player, you're involved, a Rangers manager, you're involved with Rangers, the media attention that's focused on them makes them favourites for everything, with maybe the exception of the European Cup. So we're used to that, and I think Airdrie have had a season where they've been the underdogs, and they're used to that. So I don't think anything that's written about the Cup final will particularly affect anybody at Rangers or Airdrie.
Airdrie have carried some bad publicity this season for the way they play. How do you see them?
Well, I think Alan McDonald deserves tremendous credit for the way his team's performed. I mean, he's unlucky not to get to the League Cup final. They've got themselves into the Scottish Cup final. They've achieved what they set out to do at the start of the season, and that they've stayed in the Premier League. They could look at Rangers and then look at themselves and say, well, we've achieved nearly the same things. We get beaten in the Skull Cup semi-final. We've just got to the final to play against them. Rangers have won the league, which people would look them to do. So, I mean, both teams have had their successes this season, and the criticism about the way they played, well, I think if we look at teams further down the league, if I was the manager at Airdrie, I don't know whether I would handle it much different from Alec McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, because you were given that award as manager of the year, and Alec justifiably could have won it beside you, but given that, you know, what he has to work with.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, I mean, I don't think that people that are in football should criticise the manner in which other teams play. Everybody's got to do a job, and Alec's done his better than most this season.
Smith is a man thrust into the spotlight, a vastly different proposition from his predecessor. His best pal was always Archie Knox, and it is Knox who knows him best of all.
Goes about his job in a quiet manner. If need be, then the other side of him will be seen, but maybe not in the public.
I mean, he has a sense of humour that maybe people are not aware of, for example.
Oh, there's no question about that. I mean, he'll have his fun with the players the same as anybody else will have, but, you know, then obviously the public don't see that side of it.
He served a lot of time under Jim McLean at Dundee United. He served 2 years under Graham Souness here, or 3 years before he became manager. I think he learned a lot under the two managers. I think, well, at United I kept him in the job for 12 years because he scored 100 odd goals. And since I came here I've kept him in the job for the last 2 years too. So hopefully if I win the cup we might still be in a job, Chick.
What do you remember? Is he a changed man from the guy you remember at Tannadice to what he is now?
I think he's got a lot of grey hair. I've noticed that, and I think his hair's definitely got a bit thinner too.
So what do you do with grey hairs on cup final day? We took the Rangers gaffer for his pre-Hampden trim, and hairdresser Taylor Ferguson has his own suggestions. Oh yes, and a little secret about Andy Roxburgh came out of the bag. Taylor, what do you think? I think it's maybe time the man should be getting a wee bit of colour put into this here.
Well, I certainly could do something if he would like it done. I could maybe give you an Andy Roxburgh. Same shade as that, no?
Are you telling me that Andy Roxburgh colours his hair?
I'm saying, what about a blue rinse, Walter?
Is this a secret of the bag? Does Andy Roxburgh colour his hair? Do we know this for a fact?
Well, I've no idea whether Andy colours his hair or not. Taylor's been at me for a while to get mine on, but so far I've refused.
Is this grey hair getting... I mean, I don't remember you ever not having grey hair, if I could say that to you.
I don't... No, I don't... There's a certain stage of my career to it when I did have maybe dark brown hair. It's certainly gone grey enough for the last 4 or 5 years.
Are you very aware of this image sort of thing at Rangers?
What image?
Taylor, what would you do to him if you let you have your way?
Probably I would put a very, very subtle kind of colouring on it. Just, you know, it does make a difference, Walter. We tend to have fair-skinned, and a bit of colouring's quite nice. But, you know, somebody's got to be with you in that. You know, and when ex-presidents of the United States get it done, I mean, anybody can get it done, can't they?
Taylor's subtle colouring's black.
You don't fancy Andy Roxburgh black?
I would. No.
The pressure was on him because we all know what type of character Graham Souness was. He was far more outgoing and bold and brash than Walter Smith is. But I think Walter Smith is going about his job in a very quiet and a very effective manner. And all I can do is thank him and Archie for giving me the chance. As I say, last year wasn't easy for me when I wasn't playing. But to play this year, it's all down to the management, and I like to think I've repaid him by scoring 1 or 2 goals for him.
What do you remember of Walter Smith, the player?
Well, I think 3 goals in 17 years says it all. I mean, there's not an awful lot more you can say about it. 2 of these are in practice games. 1 against Dundee at Dens Park. Didn't have a big future in the game as a player.
3 goals in 17 years, hardly golden boot material, but it's a gold watch Walter Smith seeks in return for long service as manager of Rangers, because there is no place he would rather be.
A Glasgow boy. I was a Rangers supporter as a boy. This is something I always dreamed about when I went into football management. It's happened to me. I can see no better job. But circumstances dictate, you can never tell. If I don't win any more of these league championships, the motivational factor comes into play.
Secrets being revealed in the hairdresser's salon. Eh? Who would ever have believed it? I've got to get a comment on that. Now, Murdo, you played with Walter, in fact, just towards the end of his playing days, didn't you?
That's right. I just started my career down at Dumbarton, and Alec Wright signed Walter to come down and use his experience and all the younger players.
What colour was the hair then, was it?
It was jet black, yeah. So I think he's still going to rinse through it there. A mature look.
Interesting revelations there about Andy Roxburgh too, Derek.
I don't believe he colours his hair. I'm just saying that, what is Chick Young doing in a hairdresser shop anyway?
Let's move swiftly on, I think. And having already heard Walter Smith's thoughts, looking forward to this cup final. What about the players themselves? Confidence obviously is high. Perhaps the danger is that it might just be too high and complacency sets in. Let's hear from Rob McLean with the Rangers squad.
It's 11 years since Ibrox trophy polisher Lizzie Love had her hands on the Scottish Cup. Like everyone at the club, she hopes the long wait will end today. Davy Cooper scored one of the Rangers' goals against Dundee United when the cup was last won. And Ali Dawson was captain. Now coaching in Malta, he sends this message of hope.
This year, I keep saying it, is going to be the year that they're going to win it. It's been too long as far as I'm concerned, and I think as far as every supporter's concerned. So hopefully I'll keep my fingers crossed that they win it this year.
Their latest campaign got off to a tough start. Aberdeen at Pittodrie in the 3rd round. Ali McCoist, who scored the only goal that night, is desperate for cup success.
It's vitally important for me to do well in this cup and win the cup on Saturday, because it's the only medal I haven't got. Believe it, and it's crazy because the other cup competitions have been great to me. The Scottish Cup I think I've got 6 or 7 medals, but the Scottish I don't have any.
Rangers keeper Andy Gorham has lost only 1 goal on the road to Hampden. Phil O'Donnell's rocket shot for holders Motherwell in the 4th round. Gorham's come through a tough time in his first season at Ibrox.
no point in hiding it. I was down, I was depressed. The manager stuck by me, all the boys helped me through it. David Dodds has been coaching me as you will, he's been the goalkeeping coach this season. And Dave turned it around for me more than anything. You wouldn't really put your finger on one save or anything like that, but it was difficult, but it's all turned out well.
2 goals by Ukrainian Alexei Mikhailichenko rescued Rangers against Motherwell. The CIS captain, signed from Sampdoria for more than £2 million, has become increasingly influential in Walter Smith's team.
He is, he's a genius. He's maybe, the boys are maybe a little bit critical of his work rate, shall I say. But I mean, when you've got ability, an outstanding ability as it is, he can literally do things. He can just about make the ball talk.
Mikhailichenko's coming to the team and he's just pure class.
You just give him the ball and then he does tricks with it. If you're impressed, I just get Mikhailichenko. He keeps it for about 10 minutes. He's so graceful and he cruises through games. I think that's nothing but praise for him.
Dutchman Peter Houstra was the inspiration behind the comprehensive defeat of St Johnstone at McDermott Park in the quarter-finals. McCoist and Richard Goff got the first 2. The last goal in a 3-0 win scored by Mark Hateley, whose spells in France and Italy left him with no happy memories of cup finals.
I've been there twice, although I didn't play in the French Cup final, which we lost against Marseille. I played against Graham for Sampdoria over 2 legs in the Italian Cup final, which we lost. So hopefully I'll be looking at third time lucky here.
Richard Goff has already been presented with this season's championship trophy. He's confident he'll get the cup too, despite his unhappy final record.
People keep harping on about that. I'm just glad to have played in 3 cup finals. A lot of players haven't even played in any cup finals. You know, I've played in 3, so you can just give yourself a chance to go on and get into another cup final to give yourself another chance of winning the medal. What happens in previous cup finals doesn't have a bearing on what happens in the next one.
There's agreement from Nigel Spackman, a cup loser with Liverpool against Wimbledon 4 years ago.
We'd already won the league, went to the cup final. Everybody's saying, well, Liverpool just turn up for the game and they're going to win. But it doesn't work out that way. And I think this game against Airdrie, people were saying exactly the same. Well, Rangers have just got to turn up and they win. But I think if you look at Airdrie's form recently, they've gone 9 games undefeated. They've obviously earlier in the season got to the Skull Cup semi-final and were unlucky not to get to the final there. And now they've got to the Scottish Cup final. So they must be a good cup team as well. And we're not taking anything for granted, and I'm especially not.
Ice-cool finishing from Ali McCoist got 10-man Rangers over the Old Firm hurdle in the cup semi-final. And Airdrie be warned, the deeply dippy striker wants to round off a memorable season.
Somebody said to me 12 months ago, you know, you score 34 league goals and a few in the cup and be league champions and the Sports Writers Player of the Year. I would have probably laughed at them. So I think in terms of that, if we do win the cup, it will be my best season here at Ibrox.
A confident Rangers squad, understandably, and the deeply dippy Ali McCoist, who's had a quite astonishing season and will obviously fancy his chances of being on the score sheet again in this afternoon's final. Just a little over half an hour now to go until kick-off time. There's the scene inside Hampden, filling up nicely. Still perhaps not just as busy as you might have expected, so close to kick-off time, but those who have tickets, the lucky ones, so many left locked outside, not literally, but unable to get a ticket for the big game of the season. And that really is a great shame for those who have missed out. John Brown, of course, who had severe Achilles tendon injury problems at the end of last season. You remember he went off in the league decider against Aberdeen, but a summer of rest and recuperation saw him start the season out of the squad, but he's coming in. In fact, he's keeping Oleg Kuznetsov out of the Rangers side, and that is a great tribute to the Bomber. Would you agree, Derek?
Yes, I would agree with that. I think if you're talking about defenders, I think Oleg Kuznetsov probably uses the ball a lot better, an intelligent player, but as for just defending, I think John Brown is a far better defender. He's played very consistently for Rangers this season, and there's no doubt deserves his place in the team of today.
And what about Ali McCoist? Nobody's mentioned him very much over the last few weeks, Murdo, so we might as well give him a mention here, but he has had a quite astonishing season, hasn't he?
It's been unbelievable. No, everything he's touched this season has went into the net. He's deserved every award he's got this season. He's scored in all the important matches.
You played with him and against him, of course. I mean, can you briefly sum up what his main attributes are?
He loves scoring goals. I think that sums him up. He's not one that'll go and work hard, but dropping back into midfield and look for the ball. Just get the ball in the box and Ali will be there.
And Ian Durrant as well. And I think everyone in football, no matter their club loyalties, must be delighted to see Ian Durrant back once again in the Rangers squad. And as far as we know, will take his place in the starting 11 today. Let me remind you again of the Man of the Match competition. We're offering you the chance, of course, to win a trip to Gothenburg to see Scotland's opening match in the European Championship finals. And that, of course, is against Holland. A draw made earlier this year, with Scotland in with the Netherlands, CIS and Germany. Tough group. Our opening match against the Dutch, the defending champions, in Gothenburg on June the 12th, with everyone looking for a repeat of the win over Holland in 1978, although I doubt whether we'd ever see a goal just quite as spectacular as that by Archie Gemmill. So, your chance to be there when Scotland take on defending champions Holland on the 12th of June. All you have to do is predict who will be the sponsor's man of the match in the Tennant Scottish Cup final this afternoon. The lines are open until 4:30 this afternoon, but our advice is to call earlier rather than later. 0891 88 1991. It would only cost you 36 pence. 0891 88 1991. Well, it is nice to see that the weather has improved. It's always nice to see sunshine and cup final afternoon, and that, I'm sure, will please the match referee as well, completing a nice family double, because Kenny Hope refereed the 87 final here between St Mirren and Dundee United. His brother Dougie is the referee this afternoon.
Dougie Hope, the man in black today. You've had a little look around the pitch. What sort of nick's it in?
Oh, it's very good. Perhaps maybe a wee bit greasy considering the rain we've had, but reasonable.
Now, I believe this is your first cup final officiating as a referee, Dougie. How are your nerves?
I suppose everybody else is. I don't think my knees can knock. Physically, that's impossible for me, but you know, you get butterflies, but it's my job not to sort of put that on to other folk.
Now, Airdrie and Rangers are two teams you've obviously come up against a lot in your time as a referee. Are you expecting problems today?
I don't go looking for problems. I'm out there really to enjoy myself. And I suppose the players are there for the same thing. You know, football's meant to be enjoyed.
Obviously, a lot of people watching you today and the two linesmen, including your brother Kenny. A critical eye there.
Maybe, but he's much older than me, you know. Yes, I think there will be a critical eye. But having said that, it will be constructive criticism, which is most important to referees.
Well, let's hope you get plenty of that, and let's hope you have a good game.
Fine, thanks very much.
Thanks, Dougie.
Yes, everyone hoping for a trouble-free afternoon, and I must admit, I think we will get it. But let's bring in at this point the Airdrie disciplinary record with Derek and Murdo. It's been talked about so much, and when you actually look at the statistics, I mean, they do make pretty awful reading. Airdrie with the worst team offences record in Scottish football, 8 red cards and 82 yellow. Bookings, well, the worst defenders perhaps, Kenny Black, who isn't playing today, Jimmy Boyle and Chris Honor with 9 bookings over the season. Murdo, are Airdrie a dirty team?
Thanks.
Nice easy question for you.
Thanks. They're a team that play to their own strengths, and I think that's they're all determined to win. You get players that's determined to win, and obviously they don't want any of the opposition to get by them. They stop them. Referees deem it unfairly, and the players get booked.
They put your side out of the cup.
That's right. So you can't knock them too much because they're sitting out here today. I'd have loved to have been there, but they're there and we're not. So you can't criticise a side that's done better than you.
Or can you, Derek?
Well, the bottom line is, I mean, they're a team that gets men behind the ball and make it difficult for other sides. They man mark, as I said at the back. We've got 2 or 3 man markers that stop all the important players playing up front, and sometimes they sneak a goal. That is their style, that is their resources. They don't have big money to spend on class players. They have to use what they've got, and I think they use it very well.
Absolutely. And Walter Smith this week pointed out that in the 4 games Rangers have played against Airdrie this season, he hadn't seen any problems whatsoever. He didn't